G'day everyone, Germanos from Alliance Accounting. Thank you for joining us and watching this video. We've got another great tip for you. It's actually a few good tips, and again, it's come about from what we've experienced with our clients. We've had a few clients who've been in business for close to 14 and 17 years, and because of the most recent GFC, there's been a downturn in their business. And what's happened is these clients were that good that they had businesses that were paying them several $1,000s up to $20, $40, $50,000. And what's happened because of the GFC, they've lost these clients because their service was considered discretionary spending. And as a result, their clients were trying to cut their budgets and trying to cut their spending and have cut their services as a result. So in working with them, we've come up with a few tips in trying to help them out to accelerate their business. It's unfortunate to see a 14 and 17-year-old business do this, but at the same time, they're great business people. So we've come up with a few tips, and we felt that these tips can be used by all. So what we're going to talk about is more tips for already established businesses who might be going through a slight downturn or a small downturn. So these tips might be helpful for startup businesses or for growing businesses, but more for established businesses going through a downturn. Our first tip was make sure that you're at capacity in terms of workload. So a common thing we've noticed is that, including for startup businesses or for established businesses who've lost a few clients, is that they lose or they gain a lot more capacity in time. So their work, paid work, is only, for example, 20-30% of the total work. So they keep busy by doing other things, but of course the amount of time they spend actually earning paid work is a lot less. So when I say keep busy, what I'm suggesting is that you analyse your time, you see how your time is being spent. Yes, spend the time that will on work that will produce you money, but also spend the time on work that will be productive for you. So whether it be marketing, cold calling, meetings with prospectives and what have you. So make sure that you're utilising your full time, keep track of your time if you have to. So make sure you're working 9 AM to 5 PM, 5 days a week, no more, no less. The second tip was you might need cash quick. So when we say you need cash quick, you might have had a downturn, your standard of living is certainly higher because of your level of expenses and your level of debt and what have you. So when we say you might need cash quick, there are a few ways to get cash quick. So a few ways, for example, first thing I would recommend is collect your invoices as soon as possible. Make sure you call your debtors as soon as the invoice is due. Don't delay it. So chase them like a shark and make sure that you get any money owed to you. Another thing is analyse the work that you have. What I refer to is WIP, and what that is work in progress. So analyse what work in progress you have and see how much more work it needs to get it to the invoice stage. So work on those jobs that you can get to the invoice stage so that you can invoice those jobs and try to convert it to cash a lot quicker. Now the benefit of converting it to cash a lot quicker is that you'll have more money to then be able to put into different things such as marketing and what have you. And a final point is do some marketing promotions. And what I mean by that is that do some promotions where you might take a bit of a loss so that you can promote yourself further. And when I say take a bit of a loss, I don't mean you actually pay money out. What I mean that you charge less of a rate, so it's a loss compared to your premium clients. Now what that will effectively do is that should get you a bit of cash quick. It will fill up your capacity of time, it will produce income earning activities, and it will help build trust amongst a greater pool of people. So the clients that you currently have at the moment, the reason why they're still with you and paying your higher rate is because they trust you. They know that you're reliable. By doing a few promotions, yes, you might be dropping your dollar for a tiny bit, but what that's doing is that's giving you more people who will then trust you and rely on you. So what I would recommend is that you might do something small and minor, such as it might be anything. So it's something small that you know a lot of people might need or might find interesting, which might take, for example, an hour or 2 hours of your day and might get you a fair few leads. What you can then do is you can then use that small activity to assess the client that you've received and see how you can upsell to them and sell more products. So this more relates to the services industry. It can even relate to the products industry. So if you're selling a product or a fair few products, you can then provide a discount, for example, on one of the items to convince them to come to your website, to your shop, or to you, and then from there you can upsell to them for greater items. So you'll easily see, for example, a several $100 client turning into a several $1,000 client. Now, when you do this, it will attract the price hunters as well as potentially quality leads who just saw a great bargain. What the intention is that you build your capacity up to a point where you're back up to 80-90% and you've got a fair bit of workload going. And once you're at that point, then start to increase your rates up again to shed those price hunters, the people who aren't there because they're after your quality and your service and who are actually there after price. Shed them. And then what I recommend is that, for example, you increase your price slightly to shed just a few, then work your way up again, shed a few more until you eventually have your ideal premium clients that you want to work with. And another thing is, if you've had a bit of a downturn in business, pay off your high interest debt as soon as possible. That's a given. Try to pay off the high interest debt, those 15, 20%, even the 25% debts, try to pay them off. Especially the non-tax deductible ones. If you've got tax deductible ones, it's best to speak to your accountant. But the non-tax deductible, high interest debt, try to get rid of it. So, now this is the type of advice and service that we give to our clients. People ask us how much do we charge to do their books or their financials or tax returns. What we feel is that although it's very important to get accurate and correct financials and tax returns, we feel that these documents are secondary to the advice that we provide. The financials and the finances provide us a story, and from that story we can go on to help the client to provide greater business advice and help them manage their business. So if you enjoyed what we had to say, and if you'd like to chat about it, please feel free to call me, Germanos, on 1300 135 918 from Alliance Accounting. Thank you very much.